Welcome back to this channel. I'm so excited to see you because the topic for today is a very interesting topic, and that is the topic that has to do with criminal breach of trust. What does the law say about criminal breach of trust or a criminal breach of trust? Where can we say that a criminal breach of trust has occurred? Maybe in a transaction or in a relationship. Well, for the starters, the basic law on this in Nigeria, especially for the northern part of Nigeria, is the Penal Code, and that you find specifically on Section 311 of the Penal Code and Section 312 of the Penal Code. Section 311 provides for the definition and gives you a background to it, while Section 312 provides for the punishment. But before we proceed to look at the laws as given or provided by Section 311 and 312 of the Penal Code, and as well as the EFCC Act and other provisions, of our laws, let's look at three basic scenarios that will give us a clear understanding or a clear picture as to what, a criminal breach of trust is. Now, the first example is X, a realtor agent given clear instruction by the landlord of the property to manage the property, receive rent, and then remit this rent to the landlord. And landlord provided, the account to make this payment. However, rather than X receiving this rent and then remitting same to the owner of the property, X begins to convert this rent to his personal use and fails to carry out the clear instructions of the landlord. Can we say that a case of a criminal breach of trust would have occurred? Well, hold on to it. Let's look at the second scenario. Now, X again, an investment banker, was approached by a business mogul, somebody very well connected and with a lot of money, and gives X a certain sum of money to invest in government bonds. However, rather than X investing these funds in government bonds, X proceeds to invest these funds in government treasury bills. Can we say that a case of a criminal breach of trust would have occurred in this scenario? Well, hold on to that as well, because the third one is a shocker. Now, X again, an executor to a particular will has been given clear instruction on how the will ought to be executed. However, rather than X proceeding with the procedure or the processes required in the execution of the particular will, X proceeds to convert the funds to his personal use. Can we say also that in this case, or in this scenario, which is the third one, a case of a criminal breach of trust has occurred? Well, before we respond to it now, let's go back to the definition of a criminal breach of trust provided by Section 311 of the Penal Code. In summary, Section 311 of the Penal Code simply says that a criminal breach of trust would have occurred when a person who is entrusted with a particular property or has dominion over it misappropriates the property or converts the property to his personal use or deals in the property in a way that is inconsistent with the law, or deals with the property or deals dishonestly in the trust. In these cases or in these scenarios, the law provides that a case of a criminal breach of trust would have occurred. Now let's look at scenario 1, 2, and 3. In scenario 1 and 3, it's a bit obvious that, a case of criminal breach of trust would have occurred because they clearly went against the decisions and wishes of the person who entrusted this property to them. It is also clear that they dealt with the property dishonestly and they misappropriated these properties. But in the second scenario, for the investment banker, it would be a bit clumsy to prove that a case of criminal breach of trust has occurred if it is shown that the investment banker invested these funds in a way to show up, the financial, status of the business mogul, and there was no situation or a case of, dishonest dealing. There was no bad faith it was done in good faith, it was done honestly, and there was no misappropriation or conversion of these funds in these treasury bills or government, bonds to personal use. So these are ways, to understand how to deal with cases of criminal breach of trust. Well, I understand that the topic of this, video says how to escape a case of criminal breach of trust. Well, by the definitions and the discussions I've been given in this video, I need not inform you or let you know how to escape. You can figure that out yourself. But if you've watched this video up to this particular, point or this particular stage, it means that this video has in one way or the other touched you, and we crave your indulgence to support this channel. You can support this channel by doing just one thing: subscribing to this channel and clicking on the notification button as you subscribe. Well, that's two things. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.